Devin, right?
Yes.
Got it. Hello, this is Charles with Shack News. We are here at E3 2018. I am the news editor with Shack News, and we have Devin here from Owlchemy Labs.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
All right. Before we dig into Vacation Simulator, I've been waiting to do that. We're going to show everyone a trailer so you can see what it looks like, see what you're getting in store. Here it is right now.
Hey, human! Did you get anything down there? Nice! I haven't caught anything all day!
Hey, I was gonna eat that! Okay, whatever floats your boat.
Hey, human, be fast! What good are hands if you can't catch?
Oh, that's my team vacations!
Hey, human, don't you want to see the rest of Vacation Island?
Tastes like
Time off.
And that was Vacation Simulator. Could you tell us a little bit about what went into the process with creating Vacation Simulator? You've had a lot of success with Job Simulator and the Rick and Morty experience, which I played Rick and Morty, and it was amazing.
Thank you.
I actually got to play that in your own home, in your own building.
Yep.
But how has it been, the process of creating this one?
Yeah, so we try to never make the same game in the same genre.
Okay.
And so a lot of people think of Vacation Simulator like, oh, this is the direct sequel to Job Simulator.
Of course.
And why it's set in the same universe, it's actually a different genre of game. So Job Simulator, you have 4 jobs, and they're completely independent of one another, and you pop between each one. We wanted to do something different, and so in Vacation Simulator, you actually travel to Vacation Island, and then you go on excursions to different vacation spots on the island.
Okay,
And then there's a story that ties all of that together. So it ends up playing a lot more like an adventure game, but with the same kind of mechanic structure of Job Simulator, where you have a very dense world that you're interacting with and having fun with.
Got it. It feels like such a natural progression to go from job to vacation, of course.
Yes.
Roughly when was this starting to be conceptualized?
So when we were wrapping up Rick and Morty VR, we started work on kind of what was next, and we knew that we wanted to experiment with a bigger world. So Job Simulator, you have 4 jobs, and they're one location that you're at within. It's like, I'm in the kitchen. That's where I am, right? I'm in the auto mechanic. And then in Rick and Morty, we had a little bit bigger of a garage that you could explore in a few destinations. And we're like, could we take this a little bit further even and make a world that was a little bit bigger, more explorable? So when we started going through that process, we were like, how do you move around a world of this nature? How do we keep up the density that we want?
Right.
And then things like interacting with characters. So in Job Simulator, a bot would come up to the counter and ask for something.
We all know the bot.
Right? And then you would give something to them. But that was kind of the extent of the interaction.
Right.
As soon as you have a world that you're exploring, you want to be able to talk to the bots. And we ended up innovating a lot of things like we have a waving mechanic where you just you look at a bot and then you just wave, and it's really natural and friendly. So much so that now that we have that in Vacation Simulator, I find myself in other VR games and a character and I want to talk to them and I just wave at them and then it doesn't work and I'm like, oh yeah, right, that's something that we started doing. So a lot of those kind of things, and then it was kind of building an adventure game, and then it soon became obvious that a vacation seemed like the obvious place to take it next.
Got it. Goodness, I lost my train of thought there for a second. Okay, with Vacation Simulator, roughly how big is it in relation to Job Simulator?
Much bigger.
Much bigger?
Much bigger, yes. The scope of it, you can never make something the exact same size,
of
right?
Course.
You always got to
go bigger and better at some point.
Exactly. So yes, it is considerably bigger, the biggest thing that we've ever built. So.
Gotcha. So with Job Simulator, you learned a lot about moving around and stuff and experimenting in VR. Those things were kind of a big part of the virtual reality experience. What are some things from virtual reality that you learned that can be implemented in Vacation Simulator that wasn't around in Job Simulator?
Yeah, so Rick and Morty was our first take into doing some deeper narrative stuff in VR, and like how do we get people to direct their attention towards things and stuff like that.
Right.
And that was one thing that we used to build upon for Vacation Simulator, because now we want a lot more story and a lot more characters that you're interacting with. So that's one. And then the other thing I mentioned mention was in Rick and Morty, you're moving around the garage, so you're popping between these different zones, and that was kind of like our early experimentation into movement about a bigger world. And then Vacation Simulator, we're taking it to the next level where you actually have quite large worlds that you're moving around, but in a very intuitive way.
Gotcha. Are there going to be different ways to move around, like maybe other than walking?
Yeah, so the way that our system works is we divide the world up into these zones. And so it's like I'm on the beach, and maybe I'm standing at the front of the beach, and then in the water, there's a water zone over by the waterfall, and then one over by Sports Bot, for example,
right,
and one in a dock shop. And so what you end up doing is you look in the direction you want to go, and then you hit a button to walk over to that location. What this does is it solves some of the problems that some teleportation techniques have, where you're granular teleporting, right? And you have to like aim very specifically, and then you get into problems where you're like, oh, I am in a zone, and there's an object that is like 6 inches out of my reach, and the only solution is to like back up and then teleport again.
Yes.
And what we found in watching people do that kind of teleportation thing, people stop moving around. They like fix their feet and then just kind of like pop, right? Which ends up being a lot more fatiguing and a lot less fun.
Right.
So what we ended up doing was we divided out these zones so that when you go to a zone, everything is reachable within that zone. It's super easy to go there. And then you know that if I can see it, I can grab it.
Right.
It was a lot of work for us to implement and build. We had to learn a lot of techniques to do this. It's really hard, but the end result is super easy and intuitive to play.
Gotcha. So with Vacation Simulator, what are some of the experiences? Just give a like tease to some of the people watching. Yeah. What are some things they can do?
Yeah, so what we showed off first is Vacation Beach. And so on Vacation Beach, there's lots of different types of things to do. So for example, there's puzzles. And so there's a sandcastle building puzzle. So you can go there and you can actually make a sandcastle wherever way you want. Okay. But there's also like, oh, I can go and build a very specific sandcastle to complete this. And then there's like Sports Bot, where you can go to Sports Bot and Sports Bot requests a net ball, and then you go and play sports with Sports Bot. Then there's things like a grilling station where you can go and make burgers, and then there's like the Bug Bot where you can go and find bugs, and there's all these like quests, but everything is very different because we wanted to explore a kind of wide range of different interactions and things that people can do.
Okay. Do you have a favorite? Can you even share your favorite right now?
No, I can't share my favorite quite yet.
Okay, got it. Have y'all given any hints as to what this overarching story is? Or is that something you're trying to keep under wraps and, surprise people?
Yeah, so in the demo, we've kind of started to show some of the earlier parts of this. So main character you interact with is Vacation Bot. So Vacation Bot, think of that character as kind of the job bot equivalent.
Okay.
But there's an additional character, Corporate Efficiency Bot.
Okay.
And the thing about vacations that is quite a bit different than jobs from a bot's perspective is, why would you go on vacation? Why would you relax? Work is the only thing that you should be doing, right? And so Corporate Efficiency Bot is kind of confused of why this thing exists in the first place and is seeking out efficiency. So there ends up being a little bit of conflict there.
So is that character basically going to be the bridge between Job Simulator and Vacation Simulator?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different like bridges in how we end up treating things. So the premise of Vacation Simulator is that Job Simulator was that bots took all human jobs and then they had to make a job simulator so future humans could experience what it was like to job, right?
Understood.
To continue on with the Vacation Simulator, in this universe, the job simulator was very successful with humans, so the bots went and looked, what else did humans used to do? And they came across vacations, right? And so they're like, okay, we're going to build this next. And so this is the game that you're playing, but they're super confused because it doesn't make any sense because you're not doing work.
Gotcha. So this is going to be kind of a general statement. You can approach it however you wish, but Owlchemy has become one of the premier VR developers in gaming. I don't know if you understand that, but it's definitely true. How does it feel kind of being at the forefront of VR, especially with people kind of skeptical about it and everything with your success? How does it feel?
Yeah, so the reception to Job Simulator has been fantastic. There's no way I could have predicted how much people love that game. And like my Twitter feed is just every day constantly full of people being introduced to it for the first time.
It's brilliant. It's a great gateway into VR, honestly.
Yeah, and one thing I'm super happy about is how many different types of people. Like I get messages all the time from people like, I don't play games.
Right.
And then this is something that I can play. And then that's great. But then the game is set up such that anyone can play in any way they want, which has worked really well. And then kind of taken that and moved that over to Vacation Simulator, but now added a few additional things because we know that people have a little bit of experience with VR and are able to like go through a little bit of story with a little bit more plot, with a little bit of progression, and getting that all tied together.
Gotcha. Are there other things in the VR realm that you're seeing that are very impressive to you, maybe from other developers of games, not even just games, experiences, films, anything like that?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of really cool things coming up. Like, I'm a big fan of Beat Saber right now.
Oh, yes. A lot of people love that game. I haven't played it yet, but I'm going to.
Yeah, so, like, there's so many cool things, and I think one of the greatest things about VR is how many different things. Like, we're not just seeing the one genre of games in VR. Like, it is, like, a wide breadth.
Everybody's experimenting.
Exactly, and it's so much fun to, like, every day go in and, like, okay, what cool thing can I try out now for the first time? So
gotcha. Great. Do you go back and play Job Simulator every now and then?
I mean, occasionally, yeah.
I'm sure you've got a lot of work that you have to do.
Yeah, I mean, like, people always come over and, you know, I want to show people lots of VR experience, so that's definitely one I show.
Gotcha. So on the creative side, what exactly is your role in creating Vacation Simulator?
Yeah, so I am the chief technology owl at Owlchemy. So it means that I end up doing a lot of different things. Everything from, you know, handling, you know, some management and business stuff, to doing PR, to doing gameplay design, to doing programming. I kind of touch a little bit of everything. So.
Yeah, because I know Owlchemy kind of has a less structured roles, kind of, and I think that's probably more freeing, you know, to have someone that's capable of going to somewhere else and helping, as opposed to being like, where is this one person that can do this one thing?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one of the things that has helped us become so successful is particularly in areas like VR where everything is moving really quickly. If you end up having people who are very tied into very specific roles, right? A joke that somebody who said was like, I know 3D modelers who make trees. That's what they make, right?
Yeah.
And now imagine being the tree person and the next game, there is no trees, right? It's like,
right.
But with our company, everybody is able to wear so many different hats that when things change and evolve, we're able to just kind of like latch onto them and do cool things. So.
Got it. In the creative process, has there been anything that's more difficult during just Vacation Simulator's creation?
I think one of the things that's a little bit different with Vacation Simulator was trying to figure out what experiences were interesting. So we wanted to do so many different types of things, and so it means that, like a little bit like Job Simulator, we had to throw out a lot of stuff, right? It was like, oh, we tried that, did that not work? And then once we ended up getting those cool things that are interesting, how to tie them together and make sure they seem cohesive in the world. That has been a pretty big challenge for us. And then on top of that, the game is quite large, so it's a big scope project, but I am very excited to see it all kind of come together right now.
Can you tell us exactly how large it is, the game space?
No, we're not quite ready to talk about other areas in the game itself.
Okay.
But yet there is other areas. It's not just the beach. That's just one part of the game. But it's also really challenging to kind of quantify stuff, because the way that we end up building things is that you can go in and, like, for example, sandcastles. We've watched people play sandcastles for an hour and a half. It's literally like a one tiny part of one zone, right?
But they love it.
And they just love it, right? And so it's kind of hard to quantify things because everybody will kind of play it in their own way and take different lengths of times on different things. So.
Got it. So what platforms will this be launching on?
Yeah, so it'll be launching on PlayStation VR, Oculus, and the Vive.
Gotcha. Release date, release window?
So, yeah, we don't have a date yet, but we're targeting somewhere around late 2018, early 2019.
Okay. Can you tell us about this shirt?
Yeah.
Can we get some more of these?
Yeah. We're working on it. We did a lot of research on lots of different vacations, and so I went and bought a whole bunch of Hawaiian shirts and was like, what makes a good Hawaiian shirt? And so our artist, one of our lead artists, Carrie, sat down and kind of figured out, how do we design a vacation shirt but that is themed as Vacation Simulator? And so awesome. So then we went and made this and actually made the fabric. But then we were in such a hurry to get them done that we had to, like, ship the fabric to somebody in the Midwest who hand sewed 10 of them. So there's only like 10 of these that exist.
Goodness.
But yeah, we're trying to figure out how to mass produce them because they're awesome.
Gotcha. And y'all have a booth here at E3, correct?
Yes.
Where is it located?
Yeah, at the Sony booth. We're in the PlayStation VR section.
Okay, and it's hands-on.
Yep.
What can people experience if they go over there to play it?
Yeah, so we have our beach demo, which is an 8-minute demo that you can go and actually explore the beach and just do whatever you want. There's a few different things you can do, like task-specific, or you can just messing around with the cool world.
Gotcha. Are you guiding the people yourself through the experience?
No, we were just kind of we try to let people just do what they want.
That definitely worked out for Job Simulator.
Yeah, very much so.
Have you been able to explore the floor or anything like that?
Not too much.
Okay.
Kind of just wandered around just a little bit.
Are you trying to sneak away to anything?
Yeah, I'm going to try to actually go experience some stuff probably tomorrow.
Okay. So for Vacation Simulator, where can people find more information about the game?
Yeah, so you can follow us on Twitter at Owlchemy Labs, and then vacationsimulatorgame.com has a whole bunch of assets and different things like that.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for chilling with us and talking to us about the game. It's been a great experience. I can't wait to come and play it. Hopefully, we'll come to you in Austin and actually check it out.
That'd be great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. We've got a lot more stuff coming from E3 2018 at shacknews.com. We've got the Esports World Championship that is going on, the electronic sports, as Blake says. And we'll be back with some additional content. Thank you very much.